everybody, Gene here, G Squared Tactical. We'll be taking a look at the 509, the FN-509 Compact. MSRP on this is like $679. I think that's a little too much, but you can pick them up for like $5.99 on average. I was very fortunate to find this gun on a holiday special at a local gun shop we go to pretty routinely for $4.99 plus tax. So I felt like it was well worth that. Got a steal for that. And that's how I ended up with this gun. Now, I was just a short story, hopefully, for the people that may be watching this the first time and have not saw our channel before. You know that I'm not a huge fan of the FN brand. However, there's people that I trust a lot that are huge fans of them. And so there has to be a reason for that. I don't know if it's just simply reliability or what their reasonings are. But I've never been a huge fan of the FN brand. Every one I've ever purchased, I ended up selling. The FNX Tactical. Not sure what was going on with that thing, but out of every 100 rounds, I would say there'd be, 4 or 5 stovepipes, failure to eject, failure to go back into battery. It just, as much as I really like that gun and the setup and the having the light and having the light on the front and having the optic mounted up there, the threaded barrel, all the feature rich options in that gun, and that just drove me crazy. And like, what if those 2 or 3 failures would be in the moment that I needed them? And it just drove me crazy. I ended up selling the gun. Then I had the FNX-45 black slide, FDE lower. Not sure why I got rid of it, if I'm being honest. Probably because I wanted to buy something else. It's the only one I wanted to let go of at the time, but I never had any problems with it. I actually liked it a lot. Then I had another one, FN-9C. I don't know if that's before they started doing the 509, but it was the FN-9C. My friend Junior still has one. Looked very similar. Almost identical. From a distance you probably wouldn't tell the 509C different from the the 9C. Just a little bit of a slide cut different basically is all it really was in that firearm. I've always thought that they were overpriced for the gritty subpar triggers in my opinion, and the biggest thing for me is they were just too bulky when they didn't have to be. I think Colin Noor said in one of his videos that baby got back. It was big, thick, bulky, when it didn't necessarily have to be. There were so many other options on the market that done the same thing but did it slimmer, more ability to carry the gun, more concealability if you will, and it just wasn't as heavy and bulky as the 5N, the FN-5N, the FN brand was, right? But I told Trey this year that I did want to go back out and buy the 2 that I regretted selling. That was my FNX-45 with the black slide and the FDE lower. And I was able to find one, not new, but I found one that, you couldn't have convinced me wasn't new. It was like 10 years old. The guy must have been a safe princess because it was mint condition. I'm glad I found it. We just put the range video up for it. But I was not able to find, not one in good condition anyway, the 9C, the FN-9C. So I settled for the 509C, which again, essentially the same thing. We have shot this. I'm putting this up in front of the range video because I'm glad that I did purchase this. It was flawless at the range, very accurate for a subcompact gun, and I remembered why I liked and regretted getting rid of it in the first place. Again, the MSRP is like $679, average in stores like $5.99. I feel like that's a little pricey, but that's where we are with it. So we have an overall length of 6.8 with the 15 round mag inserted. You have a height of 5 inches, and then with the 12 round mag inserted, you have a height of 4.6. I usually carry it around in my Versa Carry outside the waist belt holster with the 12 round magazine in there, and it conceals very nicely, very comfortable to carry. And sometimes I'll take the 15 round mag with me and I'll put it in a pocket or something like that. So the weight on this, once again with the 12 round, is 25.5. with the 15 round, the 15 round in there. It's about 32 ounces. Barrel length of 3.7, does have iron sights on here, which I'm a huge fan of. You know, I hate plastic crap. It's already bad enough that the lower is plastic, but I don't want plastic sights and all the plastic junk that people put all over the guns. I'm glad that they got some iron sights on here. I wouldn't necessarily, I mean, it does have a little bit of a ledge, not like you're accustomed to seeing on some guns, but I could say you could probably get a good one-hand racking with that rear slide there, but it's not, doesn't have a super tactical ledge, if you will, but it is an iron sight. It has this canary yellowish greenish front sight. It's not luminescent, it's not night sight or anything like that, but it picks up very, very well. You have this blacked out rear sight, but what I've noticed about it is there's two hollowed out holes back there where maybe one might have, you know, maybe they might have white dots and they just didn't put them in these for the blacked out. If you did want to drop a, you know, a dab of, you know, white automotive paint or something in there, it would fill in really nicely and wouldn't run off into the sights, and you could have you a three dot setup. But I really like this setup. I think having the blacked out rear sight really makes you focus on that front sight. So I really like the way that these sights are set up. You do have front and rear slide serrations. I like these better than what I had talked about on the XDM Springfield, where they're spaced way far from one another, the serrations are. I like these that are tighter. I feel like I just get a way better grip on there. Very nice, very functional slide serrations, front and rear. Completely ambi, trail like that, the old lefty, ambi mag release, ambi slide lock, and it takes down exactly the way the SIG takes down, the Springfield takes down, the best takedown. I think they all should take down this way. You just lock the slide back, be sure your chamber is empty, of course, your magazine is out, and you just rotate this down, or I guess that would be clockwise. And on this one, you do have to pull the trigger, unfortunately. One thing I like better on the XDM is that, or the Springfields, is that you do not have to pull the trigger, but unfortunately on this one, you have to pull the trigger. So it doesn't come down quite as fast as the XDM does. Way, way easier, or faster should I say. I wouldn't say easier, but faster to take down. But I really like this takedown. I wish they all were this way. You don't have to wonder, working with the little lever like you do on the Glock, if you got one side pulled down further than the other, and then finagling with it and pulling the trigger. I wish this one was like the XD or the Springfield, in that on the Springfield you do not have to pull the trigger to remove the slide. I don't know, I can't remember on the SIG whether you have to or not, but either way, nice takedown. I just love polymer frame guns that take down this way. Now, everybody always wants to talk about the trigger. I'm not a trigger snob. I'm telling you that when I took this to the range, Trey and I both shot lights out. We were both very impressed. I could tell Trey wanted to go out and buy him one. So if I shoot that well with a gun at the range, just, you know, toying around for the day, given the fact it ain't really much going to matter in a heat of the moment situation, I'm not a trigger snob. Is basically what I'm trying to say. If it's 7 pounds, 6 pounds, 10 pounds, don't really care. I'll get used to it if I want to carry it around. However, at the price point of this gun, and being just barely smaller than a Glock 19, I just feel like the way that some people I know put this thing on a pedestal, that it should have a better trigger. I mean, I literally can hear the grit in this trigger, and I'm not going to say that it got any better after we put 100 rounds or so through it. It's very gritty, doesn't have a whole lot of take up. It mostly is predictable. It does break when you think it would break. It's mostly predictable in that way, at about a 90-degree angle there. And the reset is not short by no stretch. Definitely way shorter out there. Canic, the Springfield, of course. But it is a very tactile break, very audible, and you can feel it pushing on your finger. You know what? I'm good to go. If it's a little bit longer, you know, reset, if the reset, if it's a little bit gritty, again, I can look past all that. If it's as accurate and reliable as this was out at the range and in the heat of the moment, that ain't gonna matter anyway. Came with a nice carrying case, as most of the FNs do. I wish all of them would come like the Springfield with these little soft carrying cases that you could just put your gun in there, throw it in your bag, take it to the range, instead of these big gawky black plastic carrying cases that probably just going to go in the closet and never get pulled out again. Did come with one more straight up and down, flatter, if you will, back strap. That's actually what came on the gun. I took it off and put the one on there with more curvature. It kind of seems to push my hand further up into the beaver tail there. It just feels better in my hand, but you do have that. And other than that, there really wasn't any other accessories that came in the box. It does have a 1913 mil spec 3-slot rail here for your flashlight, laser, whatever else you want to hang off the thing. And one thing I did notice different too from the 9C that I had years ago is this sandpaper texture here, you know, right where your finger trigger, if you will reside, and your thumb would reside on this side. You know, usually I'm not a fan of super aggressive, all over the place, if you will, texturing and what do they call it, stippling or what have you. But you know, I kind of like this. I like the way it looks. It feels really great. And it's not like too rough. You know, I got eczema, I've told you guys that before, on my hands. So any type of rough sandpaper type grip really messes me up. It feels fine. It feels great. Definitely feels secure in your hand. I don't think you're going to lose it, you know, in the heat of a sweaty palm or a battle or what have you. And it does have the half moon, if you will, cutaways here on each side of the grip profile, that if you need to rip the mag away, or the grip module or whatever, if you need to rip the mag away, you can certainly do that. Again, we hope that you watch the range video, because that's where most of the stuff that I was talking about here today will really shine. We really talked more about it, elaborated more on that, and just kind of want to quickly go over this thing, tell you our thoughts about the brand, about this particular gun. We hope you enjoyed it. We're on Rumble now, so we hope you guys run over there and follow us on Rumble as well. And if we missed anything, if you have any questions, anything, experiences maybe that you've had with this gun, we'd love to hear from you guys. Make sure you comment. We always return and get back with you. Please be sure to subscribe. Can't keep doing it without that. Hit that thumbs up, share it with your friends. We hope you have a blessed day.